to MMA MADE, the best MMA show around the world. Devin Debo Taylor with something that isn't attached to it anymore. Dude, that was a very short run for you. That's all I can say.
You know what's cool?
What's cool? Tell me.
Is, BJ Penn lost.
Oh.
Okay.
Whoa.
And
whoa, dude! Is that how you're gonna start off this show? That is some messed up.
Team Jump Kick starts off the show so well.
Too soon, bro.
What I was saying is that even the best lose sometimes. Okay.
That's dirty.
It happens.
Bro. That's dirty.
Fedor lost. BJ Penn lost. He lost like 3 in a row. And 4 in a row.
Actually, one was a draw.
So, sometimes it happens. Even though I'm a far superior fight pick and analyst,
No, you're not. But anyways, we'll move on from that.
Okay.
We do have a lot to talk about this night on this show. And, let's just get right into it. BJ Penn. You know what is sad was the post-fight conference was worse than the fight. It was bad.
I couldn't watch.
It was bad.
I was too busy crying into my pillow, and I just turned everything off, and I just went into the fetal position for a while. It was kind of painful. It was painful.
The one thing that I do admire is I've always loved BJ Penn. He's kind of like BJ Penn is to me what Shogun is to you. He kind of brought you in to be a fight fan and just, I don't know, you just had some kind of connection with him. And I just had a connection with BJ because he was kind of that average dude, and it's like you can relate to him.
Yeah, and he trains like it.
And he, okay, so here's what he says at the post-fight conference, and it makes sense. He didn't want to wonder what if, and so that, that's honorable. I think it's honorable. The performance was not honorable by any means. It was lethargic and it was bad. But, for him just to be like, look, I wanted to see if I could hang with the young dogs. And he said, I can't. It's a young man's sport and I can't do it. And now I know.
Did it tarnish any of the legacy for you?
I would have to say absolutely not. He's one of 2 guys in the UFC to hold 2 different belts at 2 different weight divisions. He helped build the UFC. He helped build the 155, the lightweight class. He did so much for not just the UFC, but the sport. He did a lot. And so, of course you'd like to see him go out on a high note, but, it's not going to happen.
Okay. It was, like he said, it was tough when, as soon as the fight's over, he just says, I probably shouldn't have come back. That was tough. It just seemed, I don't know what the camp was bad, but I don't know what the game plan was. He's standing up really tall in the fight. And
speaking of which, do you remember
his guard is open and feet on hips? I don't know what he was looking for.
Do you remember John L. Sullivan? He was a boxer. He was one of the first gloved boxers, but he also fought bare fist. And he would fight like this straight. And that's what his freaking stance reminded me of. He was straight up, and he was kind of like this. And I'm like, was he watching like old 1892 boxing reels or what?
Yeah, I give him a little bit of credit that I think he realized, hey, I got to switch it up. This guy is faster, and he's going to be coming in and out. And so I think the plan was, hey, let's do something he's not expecting.
Like stand there and get punched?
Yeah. Tire out his hands with my face.
I looked at it, and because it was so unusual for how he was fighting, I go, okay, he must have a game plan. But then as the fight progressed, you're like, he doesn't have a game plan. He's just, I'm like...
And the commentators are thinking the same thing, his guard, maybe he's waiting for something with his guard, and maybe there's code words that they're going to use, and they're going to yell something out like in Rocky, and then he's going to flip out and just get him, and then at a certain point you're like, no, there's no code word. They're not holding anything back here.
Yeah, so, and then we'll just touch briefly, lots of upsets on the tough finale. You had the 2, both Ultimate Fighter finales, the the 205er and the 185ers. Both of the underdogs won, and I thought that was kind of cool.
They were real quick fights.
They were both less than 90 seconds, first round.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Considering the whole season was so just, it was bad. I mean, the season was just bad. It was just like the fights were boring, and not that I want to see drama, but there wasn't even anything exciting, like, to make you want to go, man, I want to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, the season was just pretty bad. I mean, I'm a fan, so of course I watched every episode. But yeah, man. So for them to come out and perform like they did, kudos. Good job, guys.
Yeah, it was. I almost want to say that card was a little bit better than the previous.
Than Saturday nights?
Well, the headliner. The headliner was better. On Saturday.
Yes, for sure.
But then you go Sunday. And you know what? Here's the thing, UFC. It's all a blur for me right now because you've been going ham sandwich. You've been putting 84 fights on in like 2 days, and I don't remember. It's all blur. Okay, there was the one guy fought the other guy, and then I fell asleep, and I woke up, and there was the other guy fighting the other guy, and that guy was getting killed.
And they had World Series of Fighting 11 on Saturday also.
It's a lot.
Was another fight. That was the John Fitch fight.
John Fitch, how'd that go?
Yeah, well, what do you think? It would look like a wet blanket.
Oh, was it a decision?
No, how'd you guess?
No way!
Yeah. Actually, John Fitch got the knockout first round.
Really?
No, absolutely not.
Wow, I was like...
I also won the lottery.
He changed his whole... who he is.
Yeah, no, it was... Yeah, no bueno. For that, I mean, Fitch is... Whatever.
He's very... The worst part is he's really good. He's good at what he does, and he's one of the best in the world at his weight class, Alba grappler. Just kind of boring to watch.
Here's the fight that nobody wants to see, but they should have it. John Fitch, Ben Askren. The battle of the blankets.
But no, Askren's now with ONE FC, right?
Yes.
So we can't even get that fight.
I know. Well, you never know.
It would be interesting to see them try and blanket each other.
Like, okay, you gonna lay on me this round, I'll lay on you next round.
They really would.
We'll cuddle.
Yeah, you'd be looking for the takedown.
You'd be looking for the spoon submission because they'd be laying together.
It would be awkward.
Oh, God. No one wants to see that, but hey, make it happen anyway. Make it one for the books.
And then one of them finally loses or something. Well, yeah. Askren still hasn't lost, has he?
Mm-hmm. No. I forget what the fight... Their fight's coming up, too. I think it's the end of this month.
What beats a blanket? Like, what do you...
It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors, so...
Yeah, so what would be...
Fire.
Fire.
But it can't be wet blanket. The wet blanket beats fire.
Yes.
So he's wet blanket, so... God, what does beat wet blanket?
You gotta freeze the wet blanket somehow.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero, because then it freezes, and then you just shatter it.
Fatality.
Ooh.
There you go. There you go.
We gotta find a Sub-Zero fighter.
There we go.
Interesting.
So let's go back a day. UFC 175 Saturday night.
Did we get in the time machine?
We got in the time machine. Let's go back a day.
Gigawatts.
Gigawatt. Matt Mitrione against Stefan Struve. I mean, the card was like, okay, you get... Well, let's start off. Prelims. Faber, Caceres. That, I think, worked as far as they're watching it. It's exciting. That probably generated some buys. I think it worked for them. I mean, I don't know what it did. Like, I'm sure they have some type of way to figure out, like, okay, at this point,
how many get pre-bought and then people bought in later. Yeah, I mean, Faber's a big draw, so you're watching him. He's doing well. He beats up Caceres. I'll give it to you. You picked that fight. I kind of just root for Caceres. I don't think he performed as well as he could have. Faber's a really good fighter. So he loses that, but it's a good fight.
It's a good fight.
And, yeah, then we go into it.
Yeah, we go into the pay-per-view, and the first fight is Brimage against... God, I don't even remember who he was fighting now, but it was that boring. That first fight was that boring.
It was not great.
No, I don't even recall. I mean, I know I was watching it. Well, it was on.
I remember thinking that I thought Brimage had lost, but they gave him the decision.
Yeah. And then so we have that fight, right? And then the next fight is Uriah. No, it was supposed to be Matt Mitrione against Stefan Struve. That's what it was. And then they said, okay, that can't go on because Stefan Struve has some type of feigning spell or something happened in the locker room, so they had to say, high risk, can't do it. So then the Uriah Hall fight comes out.
Pretty good, kind of a good fight.
That was actually a pretty legit fight. And then,
interesting story, mainly because he breaks his toe in gruesome fashion.
Yeah, kind of a la John Jones.
Where I don't even think they show how he broke it, but basically all of a sudden it's broken and don't show the picture, but the bone is sticking out, and he has to go on like 2 more rounds, and he's throwing leg kicks.
And that's the thing.
He's throwing high kicks. He's landing them.
I think at that point, it's at risk of stoppage, but I know that Dana's got to be freaking out. It's like, we already had a scrap of fight literally minutes before it was supposed to start. It's not like it's the day before, like, oh, this guy didn't make weight, oh, this guy got hurt, blah, blah. This is literally, they're about to walk out to the octagon, they scrap the fight, and then he breaks his toe. You know, the doctor's like, I want to stop this, and Dana's like, dude, don't stop this. It's going to turn into a disaster.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
It would have been bad. Thank God, Rousey came out, performed great. And I told you, I said she's been working on her hands, dude. She's been really working on her hands.
You called it. I don't think you called 16 seconds, though.
I did not call 16 seconds. That was a little bit beyond my expectations.
It was, the fight is so short, they replayed the entire fight 4 times.
Yeah, it's like, from like all different angles.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and we'll show you one more time with the guy's cell phone from row 1.
At some point, there's going to be the helmet cam, so you can go in there and watch just like POV of her just knocking her out.
Now, the best part of that fight, in my opinion, is when Joe Rogan puts her on the spot, asks her to save UFC 176, and then after that kind of awkward conversation takes place, Dana comes over freaking livid, just steaming coming out of his ears, and we kept rewinding trying to see what he's saying, but it's like, we know there's an F word in there.
Yeah, it got bleeped out. We know that. It was not safe for work.
No, it was definitely not safe for work.
Joe Rogan, I obviously it wasn't his idea.
No.
But during the interview, he's like, hey, will you save UFC 176 and fight, like, tomorrow?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Ronda Rousey's just under the gun. She's like, I have knee surgery, but maybe?
And you could tell she's, like, looking around like, please, someone save me, like, come
like,
in.
Is this really happening? Like, I just fought... Granted, she only fought for 16 seconds, so she didn't exactly break a sweat.
But you think 16 seconds, you look at the fight, no damage taken, right? Wrong. Right hand, it was either 9 or 11 stitches. She broke open her index finger. They had to stitch her there in the locker room.
Yeah, she was saying that she had like a cyst before the fight had started, and then... what happened was her fist exploded when she hit her in the face.
Yeah.
So there was some damage. They had to put that back together.
Yeah.
But, wow. An impressive fight. And she still even gets a chance to use her judo in 16 seconds. Hits her once, an amazing takedown. Hits her like 8 more times. Fight's over. And Alexis Davis starts fighting the ref and the doctor.
And the doctor. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice. It was like a little tag team. Rousey tags out. She's like, doctor, you're in.
I have this new word. It's called the seatbelt, because she's like, get off me. She like unbuckles her hands and gets up like...
No, she tagged the doctor in. The doctor comes in.
It was a tag team match?
The doctor starts fighting her. It was brutal.
Main event, Weidman versus Machida. Like I said, I like Machida at 185, but I have to say, I'm happy that all those question marks, in my opinion, all those question marks have been erased now. Weidman, not only does he go 5 rounds to show that he has a tank, he gets stuck quite a few times with some significant shots to the face that shows that he has a chin, and he pulls off the win in a pretty dominant fashion. I only gave Machida round 4, and other than that, I gave Weidman 1, 2, 3, and 5. He was pretty dominant.
Heavy sigh. That's what that was. Heavy sigh. I said last week, hey, if he comes out here and he wins it, then I'll give him the respect. I gotta give him the respect. I mean, I can't say I guess he figured out Machida. I mean, he really pushed him forward. He has the length to really be landing shots while Machida's trying to stay at range. And
he was cutting off the cage pretty well.
Dominates that fight. Yeah, I mean, he cuts off the cage. He lands the shots that he wants. Lands a nasty elbow. Opens up Machida. I don't think we've almost ever seen Machida really take damage like that.
No, not like that.
And
It was a fight.
Yeah, I'm already looking for who his next test is.
And I mean, of course, they're trying to get the Vitor fight, and he has to pass it.
Vitor's got to stop taking horse tranquilizers. So
get off that shell supplement.
We'll see. This is kind of a shallow division, so like Weidman says, he might be champ for a while.
Yeah.
I don't see a legitimate contender that he should be worried about.
There's a couple that you could throw out there. I mean, Jacare might be a threat for him.
Is a threat only just because this is one of the greatest grapplers of our time.
Yeah.
But definitely on the feet, Jacare doesn't. I don't think he wants.
No, he doesn't want to be standing with him.
He's actually really improving his hands, but I don't. That's not what I think he wants.
No. All right. So, anyways, let's move on. We're getting close to the end of the show here, but I do want to touch on a couple things. The first thing is to rewind the clock. People have to go back to season 1. Somebody said that there would not be a Anderson Silva type injury for the rest of this year. Marco Souza in Brazil broke his leg on a leg check just like Silva this past weekend.
What I said was at this level of the game, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be in a title fight. It's not going to be anybody you know.
I just told you it's Marco Souza.
Yeah, you don't know who that is.
His name's Marco Souza. I know that.
I Googled his name. Okay, someone...
Hey,
yeah.
but it did happen. It did happen.
And
it's brutal.
My uncle told me about it. This guy in this dude's backyard, he broke his leg. It was just like that, Anderson Silva. Nice.
All right. So anyways, I just want to bring that up because I thought it was kind of funny. We don't have any fights this weekend. Bellator's not back for till July 25th. UFC has 2 fights again, but next week they're separated. We got one on Wednesday, one on Saturday. We're not going to pick our fight picks yet because we'll have another show before then. Wednesday we have Cerrone versus Miller. Saturday we have Conor McGregor versus Diego Brandao. We'll get to that though. But yeah, that's it, baby.
So you just get to automatically be the champ for another week?
By default, I get to be the champ. New champ, baby, new champ.
That's hashtag some bull. Hashtag some bull.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching tonight. Once again, Devin Debo Taylor, Mighty. Have a great night.